is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Well, this week I am at Rose Hill Cemetery, located in the Antioch, California area. This cemetery is an old pioneer cemetery going back to the coal mining boom of the 19th century. A lot of individuals that are buried in here were victims of coal mining accidents and or various diseases of the time, scarlet fever, smallpox, etc., etc. This is a very interesting cemetery because it is considered to be one of the most haunted cemeteries in California. And it's got a couple stories in here to share. So we're gonna walk around and look at this old cemetery. It is located on Mount Diablo Regional Park. It's a park with a lot of hills, as you can see around me, a lot of hills, walking trails, etc., etc. This cemetery is way up on a hillside. I had to walk up quite a steep little trail to get here. So we're gonna walk around the cemetery and take a look at it. And there's a couple of people in here I'm trying to find that had some interesting stories behind them. This cemetery, like I said, they consider it one of the most haunted cemeteries in California. So let's get on with it. As I had also mentioned, this cemetery is also on the property of Mount Diablo mines. It's like I said, this is an old coal mining area, and there's walking trails when you're down on the flatland more or down lower below. As you can see, they are trails that will take you by like the old mine shafts. Now, the regional park when they took this over, had sealed up the mine shafts and whatnot, but there's a sign posted, there's actually a couple signs posted around here saying that if you are around the mine shafts, that time, erosion, time, and some vandalism may have re-exposed some of the old mine shafts. So to be very careful when you're around them and not to go inside of them. So I might do that as a separate video for maybe my other YouTube channel, but definitely an interesting area with some, old coal mining history behind it. So this cemetery goes back to the 1860s and served as a burial ground for coal mining families. And as you can see, this thing is in a very hilly area. This is a very interesting cemetery. I'm looking forward to exploring this with you. Unfortunately, there's certain graves that are over time, and there was some vandalism some years ago. There are some missing stones, unfortunately, or stones that are so damaged they are hard to read. So we'll do our best to walk around and look at different things in here and try to make out what it might say. Every once in a while, you'll find a grave that is really badly damaged. And I guess the park district, regional park district had, see that stone has just been broken off completely. The regional park district will put like a little plaque down for people too in some areas. Now, as you can see, there's a stone missing there, but this one's laying flat, so I'm not sure if it was the one that was originally standing or what. But yeah, this is insane. There's an infant in here, aged 1 year and 3 months, David G. Unfortunately, this is crazy, but there's a lot of damaged stuff in here. This is an interesting stone. Memory of John Richards, born in South Wales, died August 4th, 1874, aged 30 years. William Timothy, son of John and Mary Richards, died June 2nd, 1874, age 17 months. And there's an inscription on the bottom there. I can't even make it out. But as you can see, the stone it's still standing, but it's weather beaten, time beaten, and weather beaten. It's got an interesting design at the top. There's a bird of some kind. If you guys know what that is, throw that out in the comment box below. Now, I know a lot of you guys in my other videos, when I'm in certain areas or certain mausoleums, you guys like to listen to my videos with high definition earphones on, and you guys say you pick up voices and whatnot. Well, this would be, being the cemetery is considered one of the most haunted in California. Those of you who enjoy doing that, get those earphones on and let me know at what points of the video you may hear voices as I'm walking through, if you pick up any. This would be one of the cemeteries to do it at, for you guys to listen real close with your high-def earphones. Well, this is interesting right here. This area right here, as you can see, looks like there was a stone in there that is now missing, but they put a plaque on the side of this burial area right here. Let me see here. In memory of David Watts, Theophilus Watts, and Thomas D. James. These young Welshmen died far from home in an 1876 mine accident. Despite the hard times, the people of Nortonville pitched in to erect a white bronze monument on this site. This plaque keeps their memory alive. Dedicated April 5th, 1980. Joaquin Murrieta, Chapter 13, E Clampus Vitus. You can see that. It's interesting. So I guess there was a bronze monument. I guess I would assume this is where the bronze monument was, and I guess somebody, you know, had stolen it. So that's unfortunate. This is very interesting. This is more of a level ground here. So yeah, this is where the bronze monument, I guess, once stood. There was a lot of vandalism here. I heard the park district, I think, took this over. The regional parks district took over in the 1970s, I do believe, and started a long-term project to repair stuff. And obviously, there's, you know, as the areas you've seen already, in some of these areas, they're still working on it. Actually, probably a ton of money already has gone into this thing. This area is interesting. It's behind a bunch of trees, as you can see. There's no plaque here placed by the parks to see who this was, but another monument that was probably stolen in here. Let me see if I can find some kind of map or some kind of key as to who some of these people are. There were some pamphlets down when I first came in. Maybe they've got some markers, you know, some place on the map that kind of figure out who some of these people were. Interesting find on this one I just showed you. On the map, we have a map. It's down under other unknown grave sites. So this one, for what I can tell from the map, is part of like some unknown grave sites because of the vandalism and damage in here over the years. They did say on the sign coming in that there were, if anybody had any information on the identity of some of these people in this cemetery, to give the park district a call and let them know. I remember seeing that on the way in here too. So there are a few in here that are unknowns because they're so damaged and missing stones that they couldn't even figure out. I guess maybe records going back that far, 1800s, you know, I guess maybe records were lost on this cemetery, possibly. Remember a minute or two ago when I showed you that one burial area that was dedicated to some of the miners that died? Here is, and it had a bronze monument that was missing. Well, here's a picture. I guess it says it was erected in 1878. Here's an old picture of, I guess, what the bronze monument looked like and what the grave looked like. I know I've probably got a shadow on here, but maybe I could just get out of here better. But that's what it looked like. You guys can make that out. This place is so cool. 1934, erected by Sterling Parlor number 146 and Diamond Parlor number 246 in memory of the pioneers of Nortonville and Summersville. Yeah, from what I understand, the old Nortonville, Summersville sites, I guess when I was reading, this cemetery is located in between the Nortonville and Summersville sites. Another heavily damaged site here. As you can see, it looked like it used to have like a brick border around it. Interesting. I wonder if somebody planted this whole flower here. Let me see. Stone's missing, but then a plaque was placed here in 2004. Thomas H. Jenkins, 1830 to 1882, an infant daughter, April 14th to April 15th, 1880. Oh, wow. Plaque placed in 2004. Like I said, these are all coal miners here. A lot of these people here are all coal miners. Interesting fact about this cemetery. I was looking at the pamphlet with the map, and it says, although no original records have been located for the cemetery, it is believed that there are at least 235 burials here at Rose Hill. It says this cemetery was primarily used between the 1860s and 1900, with most burials occurring in the 1870s when the town's populations were at their peak and disease outbreaks were common. Like I said, scarlet fever, horrible other diseases. So guys, have any of you picked up on any voices you may have heard up in this cemetery? It's nice and quiet. There was wind blowing. I get the occasional like gust of wind blowing, but hopefully the audio for some of you guys, to listen with your high def headphones, hopefully the audio for you guys were good. There is David M. Hughes. He died March 12th, 1888, aged 37 years, native of Wales. And it says at the bottom, absent but not forgotten. Robert Anderson. Birth date unknown, but died October 17th, 1900. We got George Cooper. Born 1844, died 1884. Basically, it says age 39 to 40. Interesting stone. Nice stones. Looks like it's held up pretty well over time, unless somebody has come in here and cleaned it up. Could be too. A lot of people, volunteers, might come in here and clean this stone up. And his spouse, Maggie Jones Buxton, is on the back of this. Hers comes out probably a little bit better. Age 40 years, 2 months, 27 days. She died October 22nd, 1890. Mrs. Maggie Buxton. There's like some kind of interesting carving in the top of this. Looks like it could be like a plant or a basket of some kind. It's kind of hard to make out. And another interesting part of this grave here is at the foot of it here, as you can see, it's surrounded by brick. But at the foot of it, there's another little stone indicating their initials. Their initials, GC and MB. That's interesting. And then there is their area right there. Here is the Jones family area. Austin Jones, he came from Wales. Interesting. Died November 20th, 1880, aged 46 years. And we got a marker placed over here for his children. There's some children here too. So Louis James Jones is the child. Jenny was another child. Infant children of Austin and Celia Jones, plaque placed in 2005. And his spouse, which is interesting, Celia Spill Jones, his spouse, she's not buried here with them. She is buried in I think Kings County, Washington. Very interesting. And another child, Martha, is listed on Find a Grave. This is another child of that too. Beloved daughter of Austin and Celia Jones. Died October 27th, 1886, aged 18 years, 7 months, 13 days. Wow. And I don't know if there was a marker here for the children before and it was damaged. I would assume that possibly, that's Austin again. I would assume possibly it was probably here and it was maybe damaged or something happened, and then this was placed, like I said, 2005. So Louis James Jones died October 26, 1874. October 26, 1874, died February 6, 1875. Jenny. And Jenny didn't just, there's nothing on Jenny on years. Let me see here. Unknown, birth unknown, death unknown for Jenny. It says on Find a Grave. Well, that's the end of part one. This video ended up being pretty lengthy, so I decided to break it up into two different parts. So stay tuned in a couple of days for part two to this video series, and thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and click that bell icon. Therefore, you can be notified of all of my future uploads. And it was a pleasure to bring you this, and I will be bringing you part two in another day or so. So, peace out.